Hey, I'm standing inside our new humidor, and I apologize for the echo. It's kind of empty right now, so we're kind of echoey. But I'm doing something that you guys could be doing for your own humidors, seeing that we're getting into cigar season. The biggest question we get asked this time of year is, my humidor has been sitting without any love or attention since last September, and how do I get my humidor back seasoned so I can start putting cigars in it again for the cigar season? Well, the biggest thing that you can do to jumpstart that humidor and get that humidor ready to start accepting moisture again is wipe down the wood on the inside of the humidor. That's what I'm doing right now with all of our shelves. These shelves are made of Spanish cedar. It's the same thing that the inside of your humidor at home is made out of, and I'll show you what I'm doing. I've got a bucket here filled with distilled water. You don't need a whole bucket of distilled water. Just a little bit will do for a home humidor. I'm having to refill this every couple of shelves here because these shelves are big and going through a lot of water, and the water is getting dusty. These shelves were just built, so there's a lot of sawdust on them. So reason I'm doing this is kind of twofold. One, to get the sawdust off, which you won't have to worry about for your home humidor. And two, to season this wood and get this wood ready to start accepting moisture from our big humidifier that we have mounted to the back wall. We are already, the air in here is already reading 70%. That's why the humidor is off right now. But I'm getting these things ready. So what I'm doing, pardon me while I'm off frame for a second, I gotta bend to the bucket. What I do is I take a rag. Don't use a paper towel because it's just gonna rip apart and pill inside your humidor, and then you're gonna be left with dust from the paper towel. So a rag, and you'll see that this rag is kind of orange from all the sawdust that's on these shelves. Wring it out real good. You don't want to warp or crack the wood by introducing way too much moisture to it. You don't want to puddle the water on the inside, so dampen this rag. Submerge it in water and wring it out real good. And then all you do is you take your shelf, or humidor as it were, and wipe it down. And you'll see that the wood gets a little darker, right? Because it's got some moisture added to it. That'll lighten up. When it lightens up, now I'm not going to do this for this humidor because I've got a humongous humidifier, but in your home humidor, wipe the inside of your humidor down till it looks like this, and then wait until it gets like this again, until it gets light, and then wipe it down again. Do that 3-4 times. It's going to take you a day to get it done. You're going to have to put some time into it. And this is not rocket science. These are the only instructions, right? It's not hard. I mean, you can do it like this and then walk away from it for, 4 hours, 6 hours, and then come back and do it again. It's all how quickly you want to get that humidor jump started. But once you wipe it down, wait for it to dry off and get to that lighter shade again, and then wipe it down again. And like I said, do that like 3 or 4 times, and then introduce the humidification method that you're gonna use. I suggest going with the Boveda packs, the squishy packs, some people call them, or smushies. I use 72% in my humidor because that seems to regulate it around 70%. If you like your cigars a little on the drier side, they make them in 69%. Those seem to regulate around like 67 or so. But it's all in how you like your cigars. I mean, some guys like them a little juicy and they use 75% packs in theirs. So it's all personal preference. As long as you're between, say, 66 and 72, 73, you're fine. It doesn't have to be right at 70. For selling purposes, we like to keep ours right at 70. But personal preference, if you like yours a little on the drier side, if you like yours a little on the juicier side, you can always play around with that. So wipe the inside of your humidor down. Then, after you do that a few times, then introduce your humidification to it. Leave the humidification in for a day or two, and then introduce cigars to it. And don't introduce dry cigars to it. If you've got cigars that have been sitting in there and have dried out, they are going to suck in all this moisture. It's not going to go into the wood of your humidor. It's going to go into the cigars. And your cigars, if you introduce moisture to dry cigars too fast, the cigars are going to crack and explode, and they're going to be garbage. So, introduce your humidification, give it some time, and then introduce fresh, humidified cigars that you got from a humidified source like us. And then at that point, you should be good to have that humidor up and running and keep cigars in it all the time. One piece of advice as far as how many cigars you should keep in your humidor. Humidors like to be at least half full of cigars. So if you've got a humidor that holds 20 cigars, you want to keep at least 10 in there. Same thing goes with a 50 count humidor. You want to keep at least 25 in there. It's because you're either humidifying air volume or you're humidifying cigars. And once the cigars are properly humidified and at 70% in your humidor, they act like cedar. They will actually help the humidor maintain 70%. If you have something in there like wood or cigars that are at 70% humidity, it's going to help that humidor maintain 70%. If you have any questions, we're always here for you. Either stop by the store or give us a call. We're always happy to help. We should be ready to rock and roll here around about the 15th of June or so, hopefully a little bit sooner. In the meantime, the original store over in the Lowe's Plaza, still in operation. We're still going strong up until the day we move. We're not going to have any downtime. We're going to fully open here and close there the same day. So there's going to be no downtime at all. Stop by the old store for your smokes right now, and we should have this up and running shortly. Thanks for watching the video, and again, if you have any questions, we're here to help. Thanks.